We are back, Coach Nick. You know, the high rollers. Hey, Big T. Look, all right, so here's the thing, guys, right? I tried to give Jeff, sorry, that was my dryer. I tried to give Jeff a chance, but the high rollers, they're always in shambles. The guy has no internet. He has to call, his provider again. It's this whole big fucking deal. So I figured, let's have the King's Court go live. Welcome everyone to the King's Court. We are in session. Juan, an outsider of the King's Court, is visiting us in the throne room. How are you tonight, Juan? You wanna talk about your bad takes? We could do that. See, and Juhas is here. Everyone's here. Everyone's here except for Jeff. It's fine. We don't need Jeff. No, I don't know. He's Jeff needs to get off the Curly's Wi-Fi. No, he's struggling right now. I don't know what's going on over there in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. I don't know what the fuck's going on over there. Because remember, he's not actually from Philly. I'm the Philly guy. I'm the one that's actually from here. He's not even from Pennsylvania. He's from Vegas. Like, Vegas. Like, I don't know. Like, Vegas is cool to visit, but I don't know if I would want to live in Vegas. You know what I mean? Big T, how many holes has Jeff punched into his walls? He's annoyed. So, long story short, he was trying to give me access to the channel's page, so I could stream from my account onto the podcast channel, and it kept giving him this code, and he kept putting the code in, and the code wasn't working. Juan, I don't want to break kayfabe. You know what? We're not on the pod right now. We're amongst friends. No, I'm not going to tell you his real last name, but Vegas is not his last name. That's for you guys. That's everyone right here is the core Broken Tables podcast, viewers. So, I don't think the algorithm's going to give me a lot to work with in terms of picking up random viewers, which is why we're not going to talk too much about CM Punk right now. Jeff really does want to go live, so we're just going to hang out. We're going to do a vibe check, see how everyone's doing. Maybe this is like a pre-show for the podcast. You know what I mean? Plus, Jeff will probably talk about the CM Punk stuff tomorrow. I'm going on vacation, so unfortunately I won't be here. Oh, Coach, leave Juan alone. Leave him alone. Juan's feeling good tonight. So here's the thing, right? Whenever something like seemingly bad goes like for AEW, like news breaks or speculations, like I could just see it. Juan's like sleeping. He's like, oh, the sun is a little bit brighter. He's like climbing out of the basement, kicking his heels as he jumps into the air. Loves it. No, I am a real king. Don't worry about that. That is 100% confirmed. I'm also the Broken Predictions champion. Rome, you're telling me you're not from Rome? I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, right? But I have this joke because I do go by Rome. That's not an internet thing. It's not my real name. It's a nickname. But I go by Rome. And I used to tell people, Rome wasn't built in a day. It took about 9 months. Like, come on. I always got a big laugh out of that. And most people found it funny, too. I think I'm a funny guy, personally. Nick, you're telling me you're not an actual coach. No, he is a coach. He's a coach. He is a real coach. He is an actual coach. That is confirmed. Let's see what else is going on in chat. Aren't you in high school now, Juan? Aren't you feeling good? Did you raid your parents' medicine cabinet? Get him, Big T. Get him. Thank you, Nick. Thanks, Coach. I always thought it was really funny. And again, if you can make yourself laugh, that's all that really matters. You know what I mean? Someone else is bound to find you funny. Well, that's not always true. In my case, it's true. I always find someone who thinks I'm hilarious. But yeah, I mean, so I wonder how Jeff's doing. I know, Big T. It's all in fun. We're just teasing each other. Love everyone here. Wonder how it's going with Jeff right now. He's in shambles. He's absolutely in shambles. The man's not answering my texts. He's not answering my phone calls. He's currently sitting in a corner, very upset, in shambles. As we, don't want to beat a dead horse, but Big T asking that won't happen until Punk drops the title to Mox and dips next to Forrest. What about Forrest? But no, Juan, look, I know it's all in good fun, and you're trolling. You're having a great time. You're very giddy. You're very happy, and I don't want to ruin your happiness because I know that, like, for you, it just doesn't come very often. I don't want to take this from you, but it's a fucking work. Oh, Jeff is in shambles next to Forrest. Yeah, absolutely. Like, look, I don't want to turn this into a Forrest bashing, but like, you can't count on that guy. I fired him from the podcast, and he gave zero resistance to that. He's gone. He's done. It's over with. Wonder if Jeff will be able to go live tomorrow. I don't know, T. Like, I don't think I'm going to be in an area where I can go live, but I mean, I really hope he can get at least something going for you guys tomorrow. Juan saying he doesn't want Punk to leave AEW. To be honest, there are a few times he control. There are very few times he control AEW. I know. We're all having fun. It's all in good fun. But, I do have some stuff I want to read about the CM Punk situation and stuff. But I do want to kind of give Jeff the opportunity to get his stuff fixed. But I will say, I think it's a complete work. I think that if you look at the news, like the story, and like I shared the first half of it in the Discord today, which I'm sure you guys all saw, like, if you really look at the news and you kind of read it and you look at the situation, like, it just doesn't make sense. Juhas was here, coach. I don't know where he went. Maybe he's driving to Jeff's house and like he's trying, like, banging on the door trying to save him or something like that. I don't know. He's probably next to him. Yeah. So it just doesn't make sense. And it's the same dirt sheets that said that Punk was in bad shape with his foot 2 weeks ago. Like, okay. Like, it's like the beautiful thing. I was talking to T about this a little while ago before everyone jumped in. The beautiful thing about AEW right now is that we are entering a point where the lines are blurred again for the first time in like probably 20 years in pro wrestling, where it's like, what's real, what's fake, what's a work, what's a shoot. We're fans that, we're smart fans. Even Juan is a smart fan, technically, by definition. He's a smart mark, okay? You're great, Juan. But Jeff probably spent his internet bill money on Magic cards. That's great. That's really good. But so it's just like we're in such a beautiful stage right now where the lines are so blurred that we don't know what's real and what's not. And I think that adds such a level of excitement because as fans, like, it's like you want to know everything about something that you're a fan of. Yeah, typically, that's the kind of fan I am. I get into something, I want to know as much as I can about it. And this is no different. So with wrestling, we all like we do a podcast and you guys tune in. We don't, we like to have discussion, but you also kind of want to learn more about it. You know what I mean? Like it's just part of being a fan of things. So it's like, the amount of time we spend on the internet, like we learn things and we get the backstage view. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I know what the fuck is actually going on backstage. I can, as a fan, from a fan's perspective, give my take on it, and that's all that this is. But it's just something that, like, it just makes it exciting. Like, I don't know if CM Punk and Hangman Page actually fucking hate each other. I don't know that. But I do know it's going to lead to a damn good rivalry, feud, promo, match, whatever it ends up being. It's going to be awesome. Let's see. Juan saying, I wouldn't be surprised if there was actual heat between Mox and Punk. Oh, is this Jeff? Breaking news, folks. Breaking news. Hold on. Wait. Xfinity. This is per Jeff. This is a quote. Xfinity cannot help. A tech will be sent out tomorrow. I'm in shambles. Oh man, hold on. I'm gonna tell him jump into the YouTube chat, I guess. All right, well, folks, this is the King's Court, and we are in session. Welcome to the coach, who's currently in the film room. I'm sorry, I don't have the graphic for it. We have the knight of the round. We have Big T. Everyone else who's coming in to stand before the king to request his presence. Welcome, welcome. I believe it's just Juan at the moment. Probably Juhas. Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Like, Jeff's really old. This man is like in his 50s, right? 60s. I don't even remember. He told us yesterday. But like, it's just always tech issues with this guy. Like, I love the guy. I love him like a grandfather. But like, here we are again. He's always messing up on the ones and twos. He's always. No, coach, I'm sorry. Jeff's not our age. He's not. He's really not. Like he'll call me in the middle of the night being like, I don't know how to turn my computer on. I'm like, you just hit the power button, Jeff. Like you just hit the power button. And it's you feel bad because like hell yeah, class of 2011. Uh-oh. Is that Jeff again? No, it's not Jeff. That's something else. I should probably put my phone on silent so it doesn't kill you guys every time it goes off. Anyways, Big T saying, damn, you have to go back to the show next Wednesday. Easy. No, what is he gonna do? I have his championship. I'm half of the show. I mean, we're co-hosts. He's not gonna fire me. He can't fire me. Can he? I don't think he can he? I'm sorry, Jeff. I'm really sorry. Take me back, please. No, I'm just kidding. That's fine. Anyways, so I guess we're not gonna go live on the pod channel tonight. So we can talk a little bit about CM Punk. I don't think we're going to get any hits, so I think this is going to be a very low-key stream. Coach is saying, now I'm interested. He's going to send you to the forest, Big T. That's great. That's really funny. That's actually very funny. Do you have video capture on the laptop? Honestly, I'm not sure. It's not my laptop. I'm using the wife's. I currently have a new one ordered, and it didn't come in today. It was supposed to come in today. I bought like a nice new gaming laptop. Going to use it for some gaming, but also streaming and the podcast. It just helps. Can you just video capture after the stream and upload it to the main channel? You know what? That's a great idea. The coach is coming through. Look at this. Look at this guy. He's in the film room and he's figuring shit out. Yeah, I'm going to tell Jeff to do that. I will tell Jeff to do that. This won't be a live video on the Broken Tables podcast channel. If you're watching this video right now and we've been going on for 10 minutes shooting the shit, unless Jeff edits it out, which I don't know if he will or not. Yeah, I'll just tell Jeff to take the video off YouTube and just repost it. I won't complain about it. All right, well then, let's talk about some CM Punk news for everyone that's here, and maybe if someone else joins, if you guys see someone coming to the chat and I miss it, let them know this is kind of a don't copyright them. I'll think about it. If I'm going on and someone joins, just let them know. Link them to the podcast channel for me. I trust you guys. All right. So this is going to be good for the coach because he said he doesn't know anything that was going on. So basically, for those of you, or all of us who watched Dynamite last night, we saw CM Punk open the show. And before he talks about his issues with Mox, which phenomenal promo between Punk and Mox, by the way, CM Punk challenges Hangman Adam Page. He lays his belt down. He sits on the ground and he says, come on out. You want your rematch? Come on out. And he doesn't come out. And he says, that's not cowboy shit. That's coward shit. And he also says the apology needs to be the same size or just as loud as the insult. Right. So people were kind of wondering where this came from because Hangman didn't come out. And we were talking about it a little bit on the podcast last night about how it just didn't really make a lot of sense for him to call Hangman out in that moment in time because he's going to have the match with Mox. And you assume that he's going to have the match with Mox at All Out, but that's not what ends up happening. So allow me to read the story that broke with Fightful today, the story that made Juan wake up and he looked at the sun, he looked out the window, and one tear shed down this man's face. I think he's in high school. This kid's face. I'm sorry, Juan. You're in high school. You're still a kid. This kid's face. One tier. But so this is the report out of Fightful. CM Punk may have almost decided to not come to Dynamite last night, and more on the Hangman promo. Sorry, Juan. CM Punk challenged Hangman Page to a rematch on the August 17th episode of AEW Dynamite, but according to the Wrestling Observer, it wasn't planned. Fightful was able to confirm this. Punk defeated Hangman Page at AEW Double or Nothing earlier this year before being forced away from the ring for several months. Before that, however, there was word that Punk and Hangman Page didn't see eye to eye on some promo material that emerged on an episode of Dynamite that built to their match at Double or Nothing. Fightful has been told that it was to the point that CM Punk met with AEW higher-ups about the context of Hangman's promo. Voices of Wrestling had noted that they'd heard that Punk had told others after the meeting in May that he wouldn't lose to Hangman Page, essentially refusing to do the job, which, let's stop here. I'm going to go into this story with the mindset that it's a work, that this is leaked to the dirt sheets, that we are in a new age of pro wrestling where AEW and other smart promotions, I use the word smart promotions, exactly, Juan. This is like the Shawn versus Brett feud. Like, it just, yeah, it blurs the lines between what's real and what's not. And through this story and the discussion we're going to have tonight, going to look at it from that aspect where I think it's a work, and until I'm proving otherwise, it's a work. But so the first thing that comes to mind with this story where it just doesn't make sense is I don't think for 1 second the plan was for Hangman to ever beat CM Punk. I just don't. I don't think that was ever the plan. CM Punk is the biggest draw in the company at this moment, and that's just factual. Like, I have a bias. He's my favorite, but I mean, it's just factual. The guy's a merch seller. He moves merch. His YouTube videos are the most successful channel hits for AEW. The ratings generally show that. Last night was actually it wasn't a bad rating for Dynamite, but it was disappointing considering we got Punk and Omega back last night. But I also I kind of knocked Tony Khan a little bit for that because he didn't really advertise Punk. I mean, obviously everyone knew about the Omega thing, but Punk wasn't advertised for the show until like 7:55. So, like, some people, the AEW Dooms singers, the people that are just like, oh, AEW's Doom, the Wands of the world, we're kind of sitting there just like, all right, well, this is the end of AEW. The CM Punk's not a draw. The ratings were bad, and no, it's not the case. They're like, they didn't announce CM Punk, which again, I am going to hold that against Tony Khan. I think he did a pretty poor job of that. But they were number 2 in cable, and it's still not bad. Big T in the chat saying, I'm telling you, I feel this is leading to a 3-way dance at the pay-per-view. Number 1, thank you for using the correct terminology. Genuinely, it makes me happy. Appreciate that. Number 2, I don't know if I want to see a 3-way between these guys. I don't think a 3-way dance is the way to go. I just don't think it is, because who's taking the pin there? Like, it's Hangman, right? Unless Hangman's beating Mox. Like, if you're going to have CM Punk pin Mox, then you should have just done a singles match. If you're going to have Mox pin CM Punk, it should have just been a singles match. So either Hangman's going to eat an unnecessary pin, or Hangman's going to beat Mox or Punk. And I feel like there's just no build here where it makes sense for Hangman to walk out with the title. Now, this is not an indictment on the skills that Hangman on Page has. This was a huge argument that we had on the Discord, which people who are not watching live, everyone in the chat right now is on the Discord. You should also be on the Discord. Check us out. Have great conversations like all day. Like, it's ridiculous. There's always somebody that's ready to talk wrestling in our Discord, and I fucking love it. But so it's just, I don't know. I don't see a 3-way dance. I don't see a 3-way dance being the answer here. Would it surprise me? No, but there's no build here. There's no build to have Hangman do that. So I don't know. Juan saying, if Page were to win that 3-way dance, it would remind him of Benoit, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 20. I wouldn't go that far. I think Hangman is a lot more established than Ben. Like Hangman's more established in AEW in 2022 than Benoit was at WrestleMania 20 in 2004. I don't think that that's a sane comparison. I think Hangman is more over than that. Benoit broke through, and obviously number one, unfortunately, guy's a piece of shit, and we need to remember that. But talking about his career before that, it's he was breaking through in popularity, but he wasn't a star. I mean, they pushed him over the top. You know, they gave him the rub. They gave him the Royal Rumble that year, and yeah, he main event in WrestleMania, and they had that moment with him and Eddie, which is still one of the best moments in WrestleMania history. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see them as in the same stratosphere. I mean, I think Hangman, he's been a world champion here. He's been in a lot of marquee storylines. I think he's a bigger star now in AEW than Benoit was at WWE in 2004. That's just my opinion. And I was a big fan of theirs in 2004. So not really a bias thing. It's just I think it's facts. Let's see. Coach saying I wouldn't be shocked if CM Punk is upset at one thing. How the younger wrestlers don't take it seriously, like Danielson, Claudio, Punk, Moxley. It's a different age of kids, even at 25 and under. So maybe Punk is trying to help these kids are refusing to take their advice, like a slap in the face, not helping themselves. I don't think that that's the case. I think that there's a lot of hardworking younger talent in AEW. I mean, we don't know for sure. None of us are backstage actually there. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's the case. I think that there's a lot of. I think that AEW locker room, the young guys, and not even just the AEW locker room. I think the young wrestling talent in general these days. I think they understand where the business is and where the business was, and I think that while obviously they have things to learn, I don't think that it's a place of ignorance. And again, like I'll even say that about maybe not all the talent in the Fed, but like I don't know. I think younger wrestlers these days are a little bit wiser. They grew up just like us. They kind of know what like the magic of the business. You know what I mean? Before they even got there, they kind of understood it a little bit. So I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a thought, but I don't know. I haven't seen enough where I would think that would be a problem. Um, a lot of Big T backing you up on that. He's saying a lot of AEW roster spends their time backstage filming vlogs like it's high school. I mean, I would counter argue that by saying that, well, I mean, the Young Bucks are they're not young guys by any stretch of the imagination at this point. Then they're the ones who started the trend with BTE. I mean, I don't think that being backstage and filming a vlog backstage is a bad thing. I mean, they're like if you watch these vlogs, like they're doing stuff. I mean, they're hanging out waiting for the show to start, and we're watching like let's say for example like the Dark Order, right? The Dark Order is on BTE for about 5-ish minutes an episode, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less. You're talking about let's say that they do cuts, so let's say 15 to 20 minutes. These guys are there for hours at the building. I don't think it's a big deal that 15-20 minutes of their day is spent filming a vlog that's going to get the algorithm on YouTube picking up more fans, bringing more fans in. So I personally just don't think that that's the vlog thing is really much of an issue either. I think that's just modern wrestling. There was a quote that went around from the Undertaker about the Undertaker saying that like, oh, the locker rooms these days are soft, and I don't think that's the case. I mean, it's the same thing that older people say about society in general. It's not that the younger generation is soft. It's that we're just we're more aware of the world in a sense. It's very interesting, but it's like I don't know, like I would rather the guys in the back like be playing video games. I would rather the wrestlers in the back be playing video games for whatever reason than shooting up in the bathroom or roiding. You know what I mean? Like that's just me. I just look at it that way. Coach saying that's just how it is in life now. Yeah, I mean, Billy Gunn says backstage can be very young-minded with the wrestlers. I mean, they are young guys. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but I don't know. I think that there are some things about old school wrestling that are kind of archaic, and what the young generation needs to do is take both the new and the old and kind of make it into their own thing. So let's see what happens with that. Juan saying TK is friends with the wrestlers. He's a mark for the business. You can't say the same thing about Vince or Triple H necessarily. So here's another thing. I know we're talking about CM Punk, but we could talk about this too. So I would like to know why that's a bad thing that Tony Khan is a. Hello, welcome to the King's Court, Jeffrey Vegas. Everyone, it's Jeffrey Vegas. Jeff is here in the chat. He's joining us live. Jeff, just so you know, Coach had a great idea. After I'm done this stream, and you don't have to do it today, but rip this video and just post it on the channel. I promise I won't sue you. I will sue him. He'll be hearing from Smart Mark Sterling very shortly, as soon as it goes live. Cease and desist. Anyways, so I don't see it as a bad thing that Tony Khan, number one, is a fan for the business. I think that's okay. He loves it. What is that? Why is that a bad thing? I mean, he's shown in the past that he makes decisions based off of business. So, I mean, I don't doubt his acumen in terms of making decisions for his business. The man runs, he helps run the Jags. He has experience with running sports teams between the football club, the European football club, and, the Jags. I mean, it's not like this guy has no experience whatsoever. And so I would rather, and you know what? I tweeted this today, and it's a great way of looking at it, right? So Tony Khan and AEW are more concerned with making art. Tony Khan and AEW, they look at it as this is art, and we're going to make this art for people to enjoy, for people to talk about, to laugh about, to get upset about, to discuss. We are going to make art. That's Tony Khan and AEW. Paul Levesque and the Fed, they're more concerned with making a product. They're trying to sell you a product. And there's a big difference between a product and art. Could they be construed as the same thing? Yes, but they're not the same thing. One is there using artistic value and given thought and caring and love. We're going to say love. Let's go with love. Whereas a product, you just kind of throw something together. You make it. Oh, it looks like it works. Okay, it's not breaking. It works. It's serviceable. It does what you need it to do. But there's not a lot of thought going into it. And they just sell the product. Doesn't matter if the product is well received or not. At the end of the day, it does what they need it to do. And that's the difference. One is art. One is a product. So yeah, I don't think Tony Khan is being a mark or being friends with the talent is a bad thing. If anything, that makes him a better boss. Obviously, if he's proven in the past that he can make calls when he needs to. I mean, Jeff Hardy's not there anymore. When things happen, punishments happen. It's been shown, it's happened. But at the same time, a good boss is someone who you feel like there's a connection with that you can go to and that you can work with. I mean, I've had good bosses in my life that I feel like I could talk to about obviously work stuff, but I didn't feel like, oh man, I don't want to go talk to this guy. And then I've had bad bosses where it's like, this dude doesn't give a fuck about me or my reasons for wanting this paycheck or, how I feel about things, So it's like, I think having a boss that cares, and you can use the word friend, sure. But I mean, I just don't see it as a bad thing. Let's see. Jeff is very pissed off. Okay. Hello, everyone, he said. Oh, we already talked about that. I've told my wife, I think TK being buddy-buddy with these dudes could be good, could be bad. And yes, it could backfire, absolutely, but I don't think it will, personally. Jeff said, Coach Jeff Juhas said you could use his Wi-Fi. Juan taking shots at AEW, of course. Juan telling Jeff to go to the nearest McDonald's or Starbucks. Jeff is moving back to Vegas. And Big T, I almost want to see Broken Tables watch along at Denny's tomorrow night. That would actually be really good content. Jeff, if you and the wife can go to Denny's and get them to turn the TV on to Rampage and you're just kind of sitting there eating pancakes, that would be pretty cool. Just saying. Anyways, let's move on with the story, folks. So Fightful was told by several within AEW that they felt the situation that unfolded on August 17th episode of Dynamite was unfair to Hangman Page if he wasn't aware of it. One said, quote unquote, even if he was aware of it, what would he have done? Charged to the ring past Tony Khan? Interrupted a promo he knew he wasn't supposed to be a part of? There's no way Hangman could have won in that situation. End quote. Fightful was told that Hangman Page was in the building, but haven't heard that he responded in any particular way. Those that Fightful spoke to, said that Hangman isn't a confrontational person and is generally well liked among the roster. See, that's where it sucks not having Jeff because I wanted to take a sip of my drink. Don't want to, interrupt the video, but here we are. So I think that this is also a fair thing to say about Hangman. I mean, if this is a shoot, it really puts Hangman in a rough spot because he can't just go out there and, fight Punk because he knows it's not his spot. It's not his time. I will say this, though. I noticed that AEW, and this is my next thing where I think it's a work, AEW's official Twitter account did post a video about Punk challenging Hangman in the ring and him sitting down like how they break up their show into snippets and tweet about it. And they tweeted it. They tweeted that he did that. So I think if Tony Khan was trying to sweep this under the rug, why would they tweet about it if it wasn't planned? Broken Tables Podcast. Jeff saying, still on the phone with them. They're trying to say they will send someone out on the 21st. Oh no. See, now I feel really bad that I'm not going to be live tomorrow. Damn, Jeff. I go away for one weekend. See, folks, this is the problem, right? This is the thing about Jeffrey Vegas. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I love this guy like a grandfather. Like, I don't want to do it. But he's really unreliable when it comes to technology. Like, I don't know what else to say. He's always messing up on the ones and twos. He's always forgets to turn audio off. He doesn't turn the cameras on. Like, it's just always something, I love the guy. I don't want to, I don't want to be this guy. Don't want to do it. But now Jeff is saying that he doesn't have internet until at least the 21st, which is 3 days from now. What is that, Sunday? That's Sunday. I'll be back Sunday night. At that point, we'll just do a podcast Sunday night. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. He's having a rough time, friends. I'll tell you that much. Poor Jeffrey Vegas. Feel for this guy. Absolutely. Juan saying, being friends with the wrestlers can backfire on you and have people turn their back on you. I mean, Cody already did to TK. All right, so this is a video supposed to be about CM Punk, but it is a live stream for those watching post live. So Cody Rhodes is a piece of garbage. The man is crooked. He was never Tony Khan's friend. He was never the Bucks' friend. He was never Kenny's friend or Adam Page's friend. He was doing it to get back to the Fed. That's what it was about for him. The dude's a snake. So saying that Cody did that to him that's just not valid. But no, I think you're trolling. But I'll humor you. I don't think Tony Khan being friends with the wrestlers is a bad thing. Like, if he were to let it get bad, could it be? Yeah, but I think Tony Khan can make that distinction. I mean, again, we've seen it. Unfortunately, we've seen wrestlers become disgruntled with their time in AEW. I mean, a lot of the times it's ridiculous and stupid, but he's also he doesn't just re-sign everybody that he, doesn't re-sign everybody blindly. He doesn't, I don't think I don't think it's the case. If there's anyone that he holds in high regard in terms of like friendship, it's the Bucks and Kenny, but they're EVPs. They're already highly structured in the company. So I don't know. I don't think that it would backfire on them at all. Big T standing up for Jeff right now, saying that Jeff needs to get someone out there now or he's canceling their service. He also says, as long as you guys have a stream Wednesday, it's going to be a huge night for your show's growth. Oh yeah, thanks, Big T. Yeah, I know. We'll definitely be live Wednesday. Jeff will drive to my house if we have to. I have good internet. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Jeff will drive to my house if he has to. What's he going to do? Not? Like, come on. No, he's not. Anyways, moving forward with the CM Punk Hangman Page story. The belief among several on the roster that Fightful spoke to was that Punk believed Hangman went into business for himself leading into their Double or Nothing match, and that Punk may have seen the promo from August 17th, which was yesterday, as a receipt. It's important to note that this was locker room speculation as opposed to Punk telling anyone that directly. From Punk's end of things, there was a Hangman promo that had alluded to Punk's issues with Colt Cabana, and that didn't sit well with Punk. There was also another promo happened during a week where Punk wasn't at the show that accelerated it. They said that Punk's shot at Hangman happened with Hangman present, and that's how the person close to Punk justified it. So basically, yeah, here we have Punk. This is again the story, the reporting that Punk was upset because Hangman was bringing up stuff like the Colt Cabana issue, which admittedly that is a hot issue. Like both guys are employed for Tony Khan, and they had a huge lawsuit with each other. So, coming from a managerial role myself and in past work experience, like when you have two people like that where like it's so volatile, you can't just fire one of them for that reason. Not in PA anyway. I don't know about other states. I don't know, but you can't just fire one of them. You need to separate them and you need to make it work with both of them. And so, it's a hot topic there. And if, Hangman mentioning that, like, I think Punk should understand that's just the business, but Punk has ever thought of himself. Like, he's never been one to be sensitive in a sense that like he knows that the business is the business. They're going to say things like that's just common knowledge. Punk has built a career doing that. So I don't know. I don't see him as being as sensitive as that he'd be upset about Hangman shooting on him a little bit. I just don't, because Punk's done the same thing. I just don't. This is familiar with the situation claim that CM Punk has often verbally expressed his displeasure about things, including recently they thought he might end up quitting the company. Said that he might have almost decided to stay home instead of coming to the August 17th Dynamite, but don't think he would have quit. Fightful hasn't been given any indication that he plans on leaving AEW, but one veteran said they have heard of threats being levied. So again, let's unpack this. So you mean to tell me that CM Punk, who I'm pretty sure, I feel confident saying he's probably the most highest paid guy on the roster. Highest paid guy on the roster. TV barely loses. He's only lost once. He's the world champion. Like, he's always in interviews. CM Punk's the kind of guy, he wears his heart on his sleeve. Something. That's just who he is. Like, you could see interviews. Even when he was in WWE, like, it's just, you could see it. And you mean to tell me that this guy is unhappy with AEW? Like, in what way is he unhappy with AEW? To the point that he's going to the company and show a episode of Dynamite. I would like to hear an argument against that. I just would. I don't see that as feasible at all. I think it's completely ridiculous. And honestly, again, I'm going to look at this as a work because I do think it's a work. CM Punk is, he knows what his detractors think of him. Big T says, see, that makes me feel like it's the planted seed. I agree. I completely agree. I think that this is the planted seed for a CM Punk heel turn that's coming. But so all these things, and the man's unhappy. In what way is he unhappy? But anyway, CM Punk knows what his detractors think of him. That he's a quitter, that he walked out on the Fed, that he doesn't show up, that he's unprofessional. Look at this story and look at what all of CM Punk's detractors have ever said about him. They're the same thing. He's a quitter. He's a pain in the ass to work with. He's a dickhead. He's, he's rude. He goes into business for himself. All these things, right? And then this story is basically saying all of those things, like verbatim. Like if I hadn't, like, you could blank out Hangman's name here, and the date and the word Dynamite, and you would assume, like, looking at this, like, oh, maybe this was like WWE Dirt Sheet, like 2010. Juan doesn't think it's a work unless Punk turns. Again, I think it's a work. I feel very strongly about that. I mean, it's just, again, like we're talking about, like, a month ago, this guy was telling the Dirt Sheets. The Dirt Sheets are reporting Punk is still in a bad shape. He's still in the boot. He's not ready for All Out. And what happens? Comes back. I'm just saying, I think that the lines are being blurred in a beautiful way. Like, this is not a bad thing. CM Punk is showing that he's a master of his craft. We just have to talk about it. It's must see TV. Like this main event next week with Mox and Punk. Like, we've talked about it on the podcast. We've talked about it on the Discord. We're talking about it now. I don't know what the fuck the plan is. Like, you have Punk and Mox next week, and it's just like an event in history. And, like, we have no idea what's going on 2 weeks before the pay-per-view. We don't know what the main event for All Out is. There's so much uncertainty. There's so much blurred reality here that it's honestly, it's beautiful. It's excellent storytelling. It's fresh. It's raw. Not Monday Night Raw, mind you, but it feels real. Juan saying it would make Punk look bad and would create a toxic environment backstage, which is why I don't think it's a work. So let me address this. So it makes Punk look bad in the sense that it makes him look like a heel, right? That's the point. If CM Punk is this big manipulator, right? Like, he's a manipulator backstage. This dude is a smart guy, whether he thinks he means it or not. Big T. But I do believe that Eddie Kingston genuinely hates CM Punk. And see, this is something about Eddie Kingston. This is why CM Punk and Eddie Kingston both hate each other so and it worked so well, because Eddie is on a very close level to CM Punk in terms of blurring the lines. Like, you really don't know where Eddie Kingston stands. Eddie Kingston does not break kayfabe, and that's that. Like, guys in AEW, like, they don't, like, not all of them obviously, but a lot of them, they don't break character. MJF doesn't break character. Eddie Kingston doesn't break character. Punk is who Punk is. And again, like, the toxic work environment, like, I just don't see it. I think the talent are in on it. They know it's a work. You have these talents speaking to Fightful, and the wording of the Fightful article makes it clear that it's a decent, it's a multiple, including a veteran, which probably Dustin Rhodes. I love Dustin, but he's close to TK. He knows how to get to the dirt sheets. I just think that it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't, and I don't think it's going to create a toxic environment backstage. And I don't think Punk cares how he looks because he's about to turn heel. He wants you to hate him. He wants you to be mad at him. He wants to come off as unprofessional in this situation. That's what he wants. He wants it to seem like, man, he really doesn't like Hangman. Man, he's being a real dick about this. Man, like, again, the smart fans, like, we know that Hangman is not coming out for that. You know what I mean? Like, we know that this is not a segment that he's booked in. So Punk taking the shot and shooting here, for us, that's heat. Because, sitting here, and if you take it at face value, Punk is absolutely a dickhead in this situation. He's calling out a guy in a shoot fashion, knowing that he can't come out, knowing that he's going to look like a bitch by not doing anything about it. And then they do one better. John Silver and Hangman, they post a picture of him in catering while this is going down. So again, like, if this was a shoot, Tony Khan would go and try to protect Hangman. He wouldn't be thinking about it. Like, would have said Hangman's not here tonight. He would have said that on commentary. Tony Khan is in there with the Khan's ears. If he wanted to protect his guy, he would have said, tell them that Hangman's not here, and Punk knows that. There you go. And that's the commentary covering it. So the fact that Tony Khan lets all of this happen, and his Twitter posted it, like, come on. Like, seriously. Let's see. Juan doesn't like when we don't have a good sense of what the main event of a pay-per-view will be. With maybe almost what the main event will be. See, we're on completely disagreeing here. I like to try to figure it out. I think it's part of the fun. I love the going where we're going with a lot of stuff. Like, I think it's fantastic. I love that we're sitting here 2 weeks from All Out, and all we can talk about, like, we are constantly on the podcast yesterday, again on the Discord today and last night, and now here we are right now. Like, we need to talk about it leading up to Wednesday and maybe after Wednesday. Like, we are just talking about All Out constantly and trying to figure out what the plan is. And I think that is so awesome. Like, it's so much fun. Like, I love enjoying things. Like, I know sometimes jokes are jokes and come off as a bit of a hater on the channel, on the podcast. And yes, there are things that I don't like, and I will be very clear that I don't like them, but I do not like disliking things. Like, I just don't. I would much rather live in a world like what I like, just enjoy it. And I don't need negativity. The world's fucking negative enough. I don't need that. But I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't know. I don't always know what will happen. I love to try to predict, and I'm going to be very proud of myself when I wait, knowing the plan. Like, I know what the main event of WrestleMania will be 10 months before it happens. It just does. You know, it's like, it's depressing. Like, why watch it all? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Big T still thinks the main event will be the trios match. I just don't think so. I don't. I mean, you might be right, but if CM Punk's the champion in Chicago, he's going on last. And even then, the World Championship is always going on last. I don't think the World Championship doesn't go on last for any AEW pay-per-view. Can't see it happening. And that's very, I think it's the right. I think no matter how big of a match it is, whether it's a match or a one night only type thing, I don't think anything in a card trumps the championship. You said something is hotter than, but and I have a lot of old school mentality way of thinking. This is one that I do stand by. I think your main event should always be the World Championship. And I understand that's a bit of a hot take. I think some people would say, like, oh no, go with the hottest match. And I think a regular show, sure. But if you're talking about one of your big shows, I mean, number one, your world title should probably be one of your hottest matches. Otherwise, you do something wrong. Saying, but who is Punk or Moxley's opponent going to be after Wednesday? And that's the fun of it. I mean, maybe. No, probably not. It'll probably be he's facing Jericho. I think MJF. And I think the finish of the main event would be predictable, though. In Chicago, I think, is competing for the world title. There's no way Punk loses that. But that's the beauty of it. Like, we don't know. Like, it's not a given in that match. Like, yeah, I think that this week tells you that they have something bigger planned. Now, again, like, could they go the way of into this? But I think they already kind of storyline with Dark World right now. So I don't know. It makes a lot of sense. Look at it this way. Say beats Bond. I mean, my thought is MJF. And I think MJF has already beaten Chicago. Yes, that's factual. He beat him. And I think having MJF return to beat Punk in Chicago for the world title. Like, MJF is already a made man. That's it. That's there. Intended. Where it's like, that's it. MJF's the guy. He's the guy top companies. The heat would be here if MJF goes into Chicago and beats CM Punk. Big T saying, okay, but if Punk... Oh, no, never mind. Juan saying Omega should feud with Punk for the world title, and the Elite should go on a bloodline run and grab every title. Well, they would do it better than the bloodline, first of all. But I wouldn't be opposed to it. I love Omega versus Punk. Again, Punk because he took the whole summer away from the guy who he was... you know what I mean? So it's like... because Punk really have a title. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll have to see, but that's the fun of it. We get to sit here and have a great time with it. Let's see here. Let's get the story a little bit. We're almost an hour into this. Fightful was also told that Moxley versus Punk match set for next week's Dynamite on the 24th was a late decision. Fightful told how late, and they didn't get any. Fightful haven't learned the crux of situations that hypothetically not showing up at Dynamite, whether it can be a match, get back in May, or otherwise. Here's the thing. So there's a hole in this story. So this makes it seem like Punk is upset, and one of the reasons he could be upset is the fact that the match got moved up to Dynamite. But in the first match of the first promo of the night, he's talking about defending the belt at the pay-per-view. So how is he deciding not to show up, and then shows up, and then acts like it's not going to be set for next week? It's set for next week. That doesn't make sense. Punk just, if he wasn't happy with it and he didn't want to show up, he just wouldn't have shown up. And then he would have said that in the first promo. It's planned. Let's carry on. Actually, looks like that's about the end of it. As far as who didn't know the Hangman aspect of the promo was coming, no staff were aware that it was happening. Fightful was told Hangman was supposedly unaware as well. And that's the end of the Fightful article. So, I think that this is just... I think that CM Punk master he's doing. I think he's planting leads for Hugh, whether it be as champion or not. I don't know. That's just what I see. I don't see it being any other way. I mean, I don't see Punk turning Chicago because that's not going to work. That's not going to happen. You have to do some real heinous, nasty shit to get CM Punk booed in Chicago. That's just probably not happening. So I don't think that's the plan right now. Maybe post All Out. One saying or but the Tony Khan is strictly not. Tony Khan doesn't avoid matches when he promotes. Like, I don't know if that would work in AEW. One saying, I wouldn't be surprised if Punk showed his frustration to TK when he got back on Wednesday. TK made the call door, showed him Punk's Mox. Here's my with that. What is the purpose of moving this match off of pay-per-view? Tony Khan is a smart man. He's a businessman. Like we were talking earlier, his business. Tony Khan knows that if you have Punk drop the belt, why would you have him drop it before the pay-per-view? Unless you have a plan. If he's mad at book him to lose at all and then figure the shit out. But like I don't think Tony Khan, like where he would be like, all right, well, I'm punishing Punk, it's gonna ruin my pay-per-view main event. What? That doesn't make sense. AEW is trying to and evolve and elevate. Copyright. trying to evolve and elevate and grow. And the last thing that they do is ruin for one pay-per-views. It just doesn't make sense. Big T commenting on, well, I thought about that, but then he highly doubts they would have had that second segment between Mox and Punk. Again, I think it's a work. I think that a lot of this is planned. I think everyone involved is being a professional about it. And honestly, I think that Mox and Adam Page are sitting backstage chuckling, high-fiving, and just like, got him. The internet's in shambles. Much left in his internet, which I don't know. I don't think Jeff's here anymore. You know, I think man might be in bed at this point. He's probably sitting alone in a dark room with no electricity, internet. Yeah, but so I think that I think it's going to about do it for tonight. I mean, Juan says TK to have his page in his city. Juan, you're being worked, man. It's working. They got you. You're sitting here saying that Punk is being an egomaniac, and he's gonna. And you know what? Maybe that's the plan. And Punk will be a heel. Big T saying, you don't think Wyndham could show up and attack Punk, and then that's who he faces at the pay-per-view? You know what? That could also happen. That would be amazing. I think Wyndham is going to be tied to the storyline with Hangman and the Dark if he did use AEW. But, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. You know what I mean? I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I agree with Juan and Big T. I think that would be really cool. I would be down for that. That's another possible way to do it. Again, but that's the fun of it. We're having fun, theorizing, and trying to figure this shit out. So, yeah. Any final thoughts to anyone in the chat? I know Juan and Big T are still here. I don't know. I think the coach had football practice going on there. He's in the film room right now with the boys. Anyone have anything else they want to comment on, discuss before I end this session of the King's Court? Let's give the guys a few seconds to see. I'm excited. Excited for this match next week. It's a great time to be around. You know, can't say it enough. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I can't wait to see the card take shape. No problem, Big T. Man, we love doing it. You know, the news broke today. I was at work today, and I was just sitting around and talking. Just want to go live and discussion. I love having, even when Juan's feeling a little bit trolly. I definitely love it. So definitely glad that the King's Court over here on my personal channel because it helps the algorithm to kind of stay with one channel for right now. But you know, if you guys want to subscribe, you can. I always appreciate that. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. This has been King's Court. This has been the King's Court. Thank you everyone for coming in and coming before the King and presence, and always happy to see the presence and also see the wonderful, beautiful people of the kingdom. Thank you to everyone that joined me live here tonight. Thank you to Coach. Thank you to Big T. Thank you to Juan. Juhas was here for a little bit. Jeff was here for a little bit. Hopefully he gets his shit together. If you're watching this on the Broken Tables Podcast YouTube channel, please hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. We do videos like this, usually live streams, but Jeff's internet, it sucks. Live following every single Dynamite, Rampage, and pay-per-view All Out is at this point 17 days away. We're getting really close. But yeah, guys, hit that like, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Top five right now. You know, I have mine, Jeff. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna say the King's Court is closed.